Dr. Jamie Foster had been working at the neutral medical station Haven's Rest for 8 months, long enough to get used to treating patients from dozens of different species, but not quite long enough to stop being amazed by the complexity of interspecies medicine. The current case was particularly challenging. Princess Calandra of the Thylorian Empire had been poisoned with quantum-laced venom during what was supposed to be a peaceful diplomatic meeting. Dr. Foster, came the melodic voice of Zara, the princess's personal nurse. Her Highness is requesting another pillow adjustment. She claims the quantum resonance is interfering with her comfort. Jamie looked up from the medical charts, noting that this was the 15th adjustment request in the past 2 hours. Princess Calandra was clearly a demanding patient, which wasn't unusual for royalty, but was definitely testing Jamie's patience. Right, Jamie said, moving toward the princess's private suite. Let's see what royal comfort requires this time. Princess Calandra lay on the bioadaptive medical bed, looking remarkably elegant for someone who'd nearly died from quantum poisoning 3 days earlier. Her silver hair was perfectly arranged despite her illness, and her pale blue eyes held the kind of authority that came from never being told no in her entire life. Doctor, the pillow configuration is completely wrong, she announced without preamble. The quantum harmonics are all off, and I can feel the dissonance in my recovery matrix. Jamie suppressed a sigh and began adjusting the medical bed support systems. The princess was probably right about the quantum harmonics. Thylorian physiology was incredibly sensitive to energy field fluctuations, but her tone suggested this was more about exercising authority than actual medical need. How's this, Your Highness? Jamie asked, fine-tuning the bed's quantum dampening field. Better, but now the temperature regulation is inadequate. And I need the lighting adjusted again. The spectrum is too harsh for proper healing. Jamie made the requested adjustments, all while mentally calculating how many more requests they could handle before their professional patience ran out entirely. As they finished with the lighting controls, Princess Calandra launched into her next demand. And I need the air circulation modified. The current flow pattern is disrupting my meditation cycles, and the humidity levels are completely wrong for Thylorian respiratory comfort. Without thinking, Jamie responded in a tone they'd heard their parents use with each other during countless household negotiations, yes, dear. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Zara, who had been quietly organizing medical supplies in the corner, went completely still. Then she turned toward Jamie with a smile that was both radiant and somehow significant. Thank you, mate, Zara said softly, the word carrying weight that made Jamie pause in their air circulation adjustments. Mate? Jamie asked, confused. I think there might be a translation error. But Zara's smile only grew wider, and she moved to Jamie's side with a grace that hadn't been there before, or perhaps Jamie simply hadn't noticed it. No error, beloved. You have spoken the words of acceptance. Princess Calandra, meanwhile, had gone from demanding to delighted, her eyes sparkling with what could only be described as mischief. Oh, this is wonderful. Zara, you didn't tell me you were considering a bonding ceremony. Your Highness, Jamie said carefully, I think there's been some kind of misunderstanding. No misunderstanding, Zara replied, her luminous eyes, which Jamie was now noticing were quite beautiful, fixed on Jamie's face with an intensity that was both flattering and slightly overwhelming. Among my people, when one accepts the role of provider and protector with the sacred phrase, the bonding is recognized by all. Sacred phrase? Jamie repeated weakly. Yes, dear, Princess Calandra said helpfully. In Valkyrie culture, it's a formal acceptance of mate bond responsibilities when spoken in response to care requests. Jamie felt the blood drain from their face. But I was just being sarcastic. Were you? Zara asked gently, moving closer. Or were you expressing your natural desire to care for those under your protection? Before Jamie could answer, Dr. Mike Torres burst through the suite's doors with his usual complete disregard for royal protocol. Jamie, I need you to, oh. He stopped, taking in the scene, Zara standing close enough to Jamie to be in their personal space, Princess Calandra looking thoroughly entertained, and Jamie wearing an expression of pure panic. "Please tell me you didn't accidentally marry someone while I was in surgery," Mike said. "I don't think 'marry' is the right term," Jamie replied faintly. "Mate bond," Zara corrected happily. "Much more permanent and meaningful than human marriage." Mike sat down heavily in the visitor's chair. "Jamie, only you could turn routine patient care into an interspecies relationship crisis." "It wasn't intentional," Jamie protested. "The best bondings rarely are," Princess Calandra observed. "Zara has been hoping for a suitable mate for years. You should be honored that she's accepted your proposal." "I didn't propose anything." Zara's expression grew concerned. "Are you saying you wish to withdraw your offer of bonding?" "Among my people, such withdrawal is considered problematic." "Problematic how?" Jamie asked, though they suspected they didn't want to know the answer. "Well," Princess Calandra said cheerfully, "it would essentially mean you were lying when you offered to care for her, which would make you unsuitable for any future bonding with any Valkyrie. Also, Zara would probably challenge you to combat for the insult." Jamie looked at Zara, who nodded solemnly. "It is our way. Though I would prefer not to fight my chosen mate." "Your chosen mate," Jamie repeated, the reality of the situation beginning to sink in. "Unless you truly wish to reject the bond?" Zara asked, her luminous eyes holding something that might have been hope mixed with resignation. Jamie studied Zara's face, the elegant bone structure, the subtle luminescence of her skin, the way she moved with unconscious grace, and the genuine care she'd shown for everyone under her protection. They thought about the way she'd worked tirelessly to help Princess Calandra recover, her competence under pressure, and the fact that she'd somehow managed to make the demanding royal actually follow medical protocols. "Mike," Jamie said slowly, "what exactly does mate bonding involve?" "Why do I get the feeling," Mike replied, "that you're about to make this situation much more complicated?" The medical station's cultural database was extensive, but Jamie discovered that most of the information about Valkyrie bonding customs was marked with warnings like "anthropological study incomplete" and "cultural significance may vary by region." What was clear, however, was that Valkyrie took mate bonding very seriously indeed. According to this, Jamie said, reading from their tablet while Mike looked over their shoulder, Valkyrie bonds are considered spiritually and legally binding across all member worlds of the Galactic Alliance. The bonded pair shares resources, medical decisions, and something called life essence harmony. "What's life essence harmony?" Mike asked. "I'm afraid to find out," Jamie replied, scrolling through more documentation. "Oh, here we go. Bonded pairs develop psychic resonance that allows emotional and sometimes telepathic connection across interstellar distances." "Jamie," Mike said seriously, "you accidentally agreed to alien marriage with telepathic components." "I gathered that, thank you." Since their conversation the day before, Zara had been attentive. She'd somehow rearranged the duty schedule so that she and Jamie were working the same shifts, had begun bringing Jamie specially prepared meals that were supposedly optimal for human Valkyrie dietary compatibility, and had started standing just close enough that Jamie was constantly aware of her presence. "Dr. Foster," Zara said, appearing at Jamie's elbow with the silent grace that was apparently a Valkyrie trait, "I've prepared your midday nutrition supplement." Jamie looked at the offered meal, which was actually quite delicious looking and perfectly arranged, and felt a flutter of something that might have been appreciation. "Zara, you don't need to do this." "It is my pleasure, beloved," Zara replied, the endearment rolling off her tongue with such natural warmth that Jamie felt their resolve wavering. Caring for one's mate is among the highest honors of Valkyrie culture. Mike made a sound that was suspiciously like a snicker. "Jamie, I think she's courting you." "We're already bonded," Zara corrected gently. "This is mate-tending behavior. I am demonstrating my worthiness as Jamie's chosen partner." "But I didn't choose." Jamie began, then stopped as Zara's luminous eyes dimmed slightly. The hurt expression that flashed across her elegant features was surprisingly painful to witness. "You did not choose?" Zara asked quietly. Jamie found themselves backpedaling rapidly. I mean, I didn't consciously choose, but that doesn't mean. That doesn't mean you wouldn't choose now, Mike finished helpfully. Right, Jamie? Right, Jamie agreed, though they weren't entirely sure what they were agreeing to. Zara's luminescence brightened immediately. Then you accept the courting gifts and demonstrations of compatibility? Courting gifts? Jamie looked down at the meal, which had been accompanied by a small crystalline sculpture that seemed to glow with its own inner light. What is this? A harmony crystal, Zara explained, moving closer to Jamie's workstation. It resonates with your emotional state and creates pleasing frequencies. Among my people, it is customary to give such gifts during the bonding period. The bonding period? Jamie asked faintly. The time between initial mate bond acceptance and the formal ceremony, Zara replied. Traditionally it lasts one lunar cycle and allows both parties to demonstrate their compatibility. Mike cleared his throat. Zara, what happens if they turn out to be incompatible? That is not possible, Zara said with complete certainty. Jamie has already demonstrated perfect compatibility by offering to care for my charge despite personal inconvenience. Such selflessness is the highest trait my people value in a mate. I was just doing my job, Jamie protested. You were doing far more than your job required, Zara countered. You showed patience with Princess Calandra's demands, creativity in solving her comfort requirements, and dedication to her recovery beyond professional obligation. These are the actions of someone who cares deeply about the welfare of others. Jamie felt heat rise in their cheeks. When Zara put it that way, their behavior did sound rather caring. Besides, Princess Calandra's voice interrupted their conversation. The harmony crystal has already bonded to Jamie's biosignature. See how it resonates? Indeed, the crystal was pulsing with gentle light that seemed to match Jamie's heartbeat. As they watched, the pulsing began to synchronize with a similar crystal that Zara wore as a pendant, creating a harmony that was both visual and auditory. That's beautiful, Jamie said without thinking. It is the song of compatibility, Zara explained, her eyes bright with pleasure. Our crystals sing together because our life essences are in harmony. Mike shook his head. Jamie, I have to admit, as accidental relationships go, this one has some pretty impressive perks. Dr. Torres, came a new voice from the suite's entrance, Princess Calandra, Dr. Foster. A tall Thylorian in official dress approached with the kind of formal bearing that suggested important news. I am Ambassador Kethmar. I've come to escort Princess Calandra home, now that her recovery is complete. Princess Calandra sat up in her medical bed, looking fully alert for the first time since the poisoning. Ambassador. Wonderful timing. You must meet Jamie, there's Zara's new mate bond. Ambassador Kethmar's eyebrows rose in a manner that conveyed both surprise and approval. Indeed. Zara, you have finally chosen a bonding partner. This is excellent news. Wait, Jamie said quickly, there's been a misunderstanding. No misunderstanding, Ambassador Kethmar said firmly. I can see the harmony crystals resonating. Such synchronization cannot be faked or forced. Dr. Foster, you are to be congratulated on earning the devotion of one of our finest medical practitioners. Our finest? Jamie looked at Zara, who had developed a slight luminescent blush. Zara is the youngest Valkyrie ever to achieve Master Healer status, Princess Calandra explained proudly. She could have chosen any mate from dozens of worlds. The fact that she chose you is quite an honor. She didn't choose me, Jamie said weakly. I accidentally said, yes, dear. Ah, Ambassador Kethmar nodded knowingly. The bonding phrase was spoken unconsciously. This is considered even more significant, as it indicates natural compatibility rather than calculated decision-making. Jamie looked at Zara, who was practically glowing with happiness, then at the harmony crystals that continued their gentle song, then at Mike, who was clearly trying not to laugh. Ambassador, Jamie said carefully, what would happen if I said this was all a mistake? Then, Ambassador Kethmar replied seriously, Zara would be honor-bound to challenge you to combat for the insult to her worthiness. And Princess Calandra would be obligated to serve as her second, despite her recent recovery. Princess Calandra nodded cheerfully. I'm feeling much better, so combat wouldn't be a problem. Jamie looked at Zara, who was trying to appear non-threatening despite the fact that she was clearly in excellent physical condition and probably knew several forms of combat. Or, Ambassador Kethmar continued, you could acknowledge that the universe sometimes knows what we need before we do ourselves. Jamie watched Zara's face carefully, noting the hope she was trying to hide, the way she'd been caring for them without being asked, and the fact that working with her had been the most natural partnership they'd ever experienced. Mike, Jamie said slowly, what's the station's policy on interspecies relationships among medical staff? Mike grinned. Officially, we encourage cultural exchange and mutual understanding between species. And unofficially, I think Zara's the best thing that's happened to you since you got here. Jamie's crash course in Valkyrie customs, courtesy of the station's cultural database and Princess Calandra's enthusiastic commentary, revealed that mate bonding was significantly more complex than accidentally saying, yes, dear, to someone. So let me get this straight, Jamie said, reading from their tablet while Zara organized medical supplies with unusual attention to creating aesthetically pleasing arrangements. There's a formal announcement ceremony, shared living quarters, and something called harmony meditation that happens twice daily. Only during the bonding period, Princess Calandra explained helpfully from her medical bed, where she was supposed to be resting but was clearly enjoying the drama too much to sleep. After the formal ceremony, the harmony meditation becomes optional unless you're planning offspring. Offspring? Jamie squeaked. Not immediately, Zara said gently, her luminous skin taking on what Jamie was learning to recognize as an embarrassed glow. Valkyrie bonding allows for many years of partnership before reproductive decisions are required. Mike poked his head into the suite. Jamie, Ambassador Kethmar wants to speak with you about diplomatic protocols. Apparently, as Zara's bonded mate, you're entitled to certain courtesies when visiting Thylorian space. I'm not visiting Thylorian space, Jamie protested. Actually, Ambassador Kethmar said, entering with perfect timing, Princess Calandra has requested that both you and Zara accompany her return journey. As her personal medical team, your presence would be diplomatically advantageous. Jamie looked at Zara, who was trying very hard to appear neutral about the prospect of traveling to her homeworld with her accidental mate. How diplomatically advantageous? Well, Princess Calandra said with barely contained glee, Zara's family has been pressuring her to choose a mate for years. Bringing home a bonded partner, especially one who helped save my life, would be quite the social triumph. Her family. Jamie felt a new layer of complexity settling over the situation. The Valkyrie Council of Healers, Ambassador Kethmar explained. Zara comes from a very prominent medical family. Her bonding choice reflects not only on her personal judgment but on the family's medical legacy. Zara's glow dimmed slightly. My family can be particular about suitable mates. They have high standards. What kind of standards? Jamie asked, though they suspected they didn't want to know. Intelligence, medical competence, emotional stability, and the ability to enhance rather than diminish the family's healing capabilities, Zara recited. Also, they prefer mates who can contribute to medical research and demonstrate innovation in healing practices. Mike snorted. Jamie, you literally revolutionized emergency trauma protocols last month. I think you'll pass the innovation test. That was just adapting human emergency medicine to multi-species physiology, Jamie protested. Which no one else had successfully done, Ambassador Kethmar pointed out. Dr. Foster, your reputation in interspecies medicine is already known among medical communities throughout the Alliance. Jamie looked around the room, at Princess Calandra, who was watching with obvious anticipation, at Ambassador Kethmar, who seemed genuinely pleased by the bonding, at Zara, who was trying to hide her nervousness about her family's reaction, and at Mike, who was clearly enjoying the whole situation far too much. If I do this, Jamie said slowly, If I go along with this bonding thing and meet Zara's family, what exactly am I committing to? 1 lunar cycle of formal courtship, Zara replied immediately. During which either party may withdraw from the bond if true incompatibility is discovered. And if no incompatibility is discovered? Then the formal bonding ceremony makes the partnership permanent, Zara said softly. For Valkyrie, mate bonds last until death and beyond. Beyond death? Jamie asked faintly. Valkyrie believed that bonded pairs share a spiritual connection that transcends physical existence, Ambassador Kethmar explained. It's quite romantic, really. Jamie considered this. So worst case scenario, I spend a month getting to know Zara better and learning about Valkyrie culture, and then we mutually agree to dissolve the bond. Worst case scenario, Mike added with a grin, you accidentally fall in love with someone who's brilliant, beautiful, and already completely devoted to you. Zara's luminescence flared with what Jamie was beginning to recognize as hope mixed with affection. You think I'm beautiful? Jamie felt heat rise in their cheeks. I think you're very aesthetically pleasing. And competent. Very competent. Princess Calandra clapped her hands together. Oh, this is wonderful. Ambassador, we must arrange for proper diplomatic quarters aboard the transport. And Zara, you'll need to prepare Jamie for meeting the Healing Council. The Healing Council? Jamie asked. My family's governing body, Zara explained. They'll want to evaluate your medical knowledge and determine whether our bonding enhances or diminishes the family's healing legacy. They're going to test me? Jamie's voice rose an octave. Not test, Zara said reassuringly. Evaluate. Through collaborative healing exercises, knowledge sharing, and demonstration of innovation in medical practices. That sounds like testing with extra steps, Jamie muttered. Ambassador Kethmar smiled. Dr. Foster, I have reviewed your medical records. Your development of cross-species trauma protocols and your successful treatment of quantum poisoning suggest that you have nothing to fear from the Healing Council's evaluation. I treated quantum poisoning? Jamie asked, confused. Princess Calandra's recovery was far faster than predicted, Zara explained. The combination of human trauma medicine and Valkyrie healing techniques that you implemented created a synergistic effect that revolutionized her treatment. Jamie looked at Princess Calandra, who nodded energetically. I should have taken weeks to recover. Instead, I'm ready to travel in just 5 days. That's unprecedented for quantum poisoning cases. We worked on that together, Jamie protested. Zara's the one who understood the quantum interactions. And you're the one who adapted human circulatory support to enhance Valkyrie healing matrix efficiency, Zara replied, her glow brightening with obvious pride. Together, we achieved something neither of our species could have accomplished alone. Mike cleared his throat. Jamie, I hate to point this out, but you've been functioning as a perfect medical team with Zara since she got here. You communicate without speaking, you complement each other's strengths, and you've achieved better patient outcomes than either of you manages working alone. Jamie looked at Zara, who was watching them with an expression of hopeful expectation. Is that true? Our medical compatibility is extraordinary, Zara confirmed. I have never worked with a partner who understood my healing methods so intuitively. So, Jamie said slowly, we're already functioning as bonded partners in everything but name. Essentially, yes, Ambassador Kethmar agreed. The formal bonding would simply acknowledge what already exists. Jamie studied Zara's luminous eyes, thinking about the past few days of working together, the way she anticipated their needs, how naturally they'd fallen into synchrony. All right, Jamie said finally. I'll do it. I'll come to Thylorian space and meet your family and go through the formal bonding period. Zara's glow became so bright that everyone in the room had to squint. Truly. Truly, Jamie confirmed. But I have one condition. Anything, Zara said immediately. If your family decides I'm not suitable, you have to promise to respect their judgment and let me withdraw gracefully. Zara's expression grew serious. Jamie, my family will love you. But if, somehow, they fail to see your worthiness, then their judgment is flawed, not yours. Princess Calandra sighed happily. This is going to be such a wonderful trip. The crisis began 3 days into their journey to Thylorian space, when Princess Calandra collapsed during what should have been a routine checkup. Her quantum matrix is destabilizing, Zara announced, her usually calm demeanor cracking as she ran scanners over the unconscious princess. The poisoning created cascade failures in her cellular regeneration systems. Jamie was already pulling up Princess Calandra's medical files, cross-referencing human emergency protocols with Valkyrie healing techniques. It's like her body is rejecting its own recovery process. The quantum harmonics that were helping her heal are now causing system conflicts. This is beyond my experience, Zara admitted, her luminescence flickering with distress. Valkyrie healing focuses on enhancing natural recovery, but if her body is rejecting that enhancement, then we need to approach this differently, Jamie said, their mind racing through possibilities. What if we use human medical techniques to stabilize her basic functions while you recalibrate her quantum matrix? Human techniques cannot interface with Thylorian physiology at the quantum level, Zara protested. No, but they can maintain life support while you work, Jamie replied, already setting up human medical equipment alongside the ship's Valkyrie healing arrays. Trust me. What followed was the most complex medical procedure Jamie had ever attempted. While Zara worked with crystalline healing matrices that sang with harmonic frequencies, Jamie maintained Princess Calandra's vital functions using human trauma protocols adapted for alien physiology. They worked in perfect synchrony, each anticipating the other's needs, compensating for each other's limitations. Jamie, her neural pathways are fighting the quantum recalibration, Zara called out, sweat beading on her luminous skin despite the controlled environment. I can create neural stability using targeted electromagnetic fields, Jamie replied, adjusting their equipment. But I need you to guide the frequency modulation. Zara's hands moved to Jamie's equipment, her touch somehow allowing the human medical devices to interface with Thylorian quantum biology. Together, they created a hybrid healing technique that neither species had imagined possible. It's working, Jamie breathed, watching Princess Calandra's vital signs stabilize. Zara, look at these readings. The princess's quantum matrix was not just stabilizing, it was integrating the human and Valkyrie healing techniques into something entirely new. Her recovery rate accelerated beyond anything either species had achieved separately. How did we do that? Zara asked, staring at the medical displays in amazement. I don't know, Jamie admitted. It shouldn't have worked. Human and Valkyrie medicine operate on completely different principles. Unless, came Princess Calandra's weak but amused voice from the medical bed, the practitioners are bonded in such a way that their techniques naturally harmonize. Jamie and Zara turned to see the princess smiling at them with obvious satisfaction. Your Highness, Zara said with relief, how do you feel? Better than I have since before the poisoning, Princess Calandra replied. And fascinated by what I just witnessed. You two didn't just work together, you created something entirely new. Jamie looked at Zara, whose luminescence was pulsing in rhythm with their own heartbeat. The harmony crystals, Jamie realized. They're not just synchronizing our emotions, they're synchronizing our medical intuitions. Mate bonds among Valkyrie are said to create shared knowledge, Zara said softly. But I never believed it was literal until now. Are you saying we're actually telepathically connected? Jamie asked. I'm saying, Princess Calandra interrupted with a knowing smile, that what you've accomplished here will revolutionize medical treatment throughout the Alliance. And that your bonding is far more real than either of you initially realized. 3 months later, Jamie stood in the Joint Human Valkyrie Medical Research Center on Thylos Prime, watching students from both species learn the hybrid healing techniques that they and Zara had developed. The center was a marvel of architectural cooperation, with human geometric precision flowing seamlessly into Valkyrie organic curves. Any regrets? Zara asked, joining Jamie at the observation windows. Her formal bonding pendant caught the light, its harmony crystals singing softly in response to Jamie's matching pendant. Only that it took a medical emergency to make me realize how perfect we are together, Jamie replied, watching their students work with the same natural synchrony that had saved Princess Calandra's life. The formal bonding ceremony was beautiful, Zara said, her luminescence taking on the warm glow that Jamie had learned indicated deep contentment. Though I still cannot believe you convinced my family to include human marriage vows alongside the traditional Valkyrie pledges. In sickness and in health seemed appropriate for two medical professionals, Jamie pointed out. Besides, your family loves me now. They loved you the moment you saved Princess Calandra using techniques they had never imagined, Zara corrected. The Healing Council declared our bonding a gift to both species. Mike's voice interrupted their conversation as he approached with a data pad covered in research requests. Jamie, Zara, we've got 17 medical schools requesting partnerships, 5 research institutions wanting to study your hybrid techniques, and Princess Calandra asking if you consider establishing a branch facility near the royal palace. What did you tell them? Jamie asked. I told them to get in line, Mike replied with a grin. But seriously, you two have created something revolutionary here. The Harmony-guided healing protocols are showing success rates that are making medical professionals throughout the Alliance reconsider everything they thought they knew about interspecies treatment. Zara moved closer to Jamie, their Harmony crystals creating a gentle duet that had become as familiar as breathing. Perhaps we should expand the program. There are so many species that could benefit from hybrid medical approaches. Always thinking about helping others, Jamie said fondly, remembering how this had all started with Zara's dedication to Princess Calandra's recovery. It is why I chose you, Zara replied simply. Even before you knew you were choosing me, you were demonstrating the compassion that makes you the perfect mate. Jamie laughed, thinking about how a sarcastic, yes, dear, had led to the most fulfilling relationship of their life. Zara, I have a confession to make. What is it, beloved? I think I would have chosen you anyway, even if I'd understood what I was saying from the beginning. Zara's luminescence flared with joy. Truly. Truly, Jamie confirmed. Though next time, maybe we could try dating before we accidentally get married. Next time? Zara asked with amusement. Jamie, Valkyrie mate bonds are eternal. There will be no next time. Good, Jamie said, pulling Zara closer as their Harmony crystals sang together in perfect synchrony. Because I can't imagine working with anyone else. Or living with anyone else. Or accidentally proposing to anyone else. Princess Calandra's voice echoed through the research center's communication system. Jamie, Zara, I hope you're prepared for visitors. I'm bringing a delegation of medical officials who want to see your miracle techniques in person. Tell her we'll be ready, Jamie called back, then turned to Zara with a smile. Ready to show off our accidental partnership again? Always, my dear, Zara replied, and Jamie's heart skipped a beat at hearing their original phrase returned with such warmth and certainty. As they walked hand in hand toward the demonstration theater, their Harmony crystals creating a symphony that seemed to celebrate not just their bond, but the future they were building together, Jamie reflected on how the best things in life often began with the simplest words spoken from the heart, even when you didn't realize your heart was speaking.